Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And it was with a laugh.
I've never laughed like that, and I never will. But I hope it's useful for the levels.
Just kind of as if the podcast is running, just so we can see how that.
Where is the camera? Oh, the camera's going to be where?
Camera's going to be there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. I guess over there.
Lovely.
Actually, all this is. Just in terms of just positioning with this one, maybe.
Yeah. I guess we're gonna.
Actually, these two definitely sounded fun. I think.
Yeah. You guys sound.
God, I sound great. Yeah.
You are like.
Yeah.
Woo!
My name is Lorna Treen. I'm Jonathan Oldfield, and I am a performer and a writer and a director. Is it too fancy? My name is Jonathan. I'm just a guy.
He's my boyfriend.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I think we found the podcast. Can it just be this? We're on.
Yeah. Exciting.
We're in.
Yeah, it's been like a year that I'm waiting for this.
It's so
This has
exciting.
been in my dreams, and I thought about you guys every day. All right, we're doing it.
Yay!
We're doing it. Podcast is happening. Amazing. Okay. We're on the notes.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so the reason we're here today is that we're finally getting together for this one tiny episode of I Don't Fucking Know Either. I've been so excited. Like, I woke up today, I don't know, at 7 a.m. I wake up late. You should know about me. This morning I kept waking up. I can't sleep anymore.
I've been sleeping really badly recently, and I woke up at 8 a.m., which I think is too early still. I normally wake up at 9 or 10
I
a.m.
would love 8.
Really?
8 would be great.
What are you, 7?
Like 9.
9.
10. And I love it.
We're people of the night. I've been so ashamed of the fact that I'm not an early person my whole life.
Me too.
Yeah, you need to get rid of that.
Like, I need to get rid of that.
There's nothing. It's capitalist to wake up early.
I
Because it's farmers.
Or Swiss.
Swiss.
Yeah.
It was just
I used to
capitalist.
live in Switzerland, and then these people take the train. Like, they wake up at 4, at 5, they're on the train to go to their job.
No.
Like, it's
No, thank you.
No.
We're artists.
we're artists.
We shouldn't rise before 10.
So where did we meet? So you guys end up in Amsterdam.
We wake up in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Don't know how we got there.
That's in Bruges, isn't it? No, wait. We ran a workshop.
When was it though?
Last, I want to say before summer.
Yeah.
I wanna say.
Yeah.
Last
That was a
June,
lovely
maybe?
little
May
trip.
or
Yeah.
June?
Is it before? No, June is my birthday month.
Okay.
I do nothing but lay on the beach.
Yeah, okay, so it wasn't June. We know that to be true. We
It
came
was
across
early.
and taught a clown workshop and did a show.
And I don't know why I showed up.
Yeah, why did you turn up?
Because I honestly have attended 1,000 workshops last year trying to find myself.
Oh, I love that. That's the best thing about clown workshops, though. Like at clown school, you had loads of people who'd never performed or ever wanted to perform. One of my friends was a radio producer. She had no interest in being the centre of attention. And she just went because it was like, what is this? This is going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
It's sort of a great leveler, and you can have like 1,000 hours worth of stage experience and 0 hours worth of stage experience, and everyone is the same.
And you all learn from each other.
Yeah,
There were like
big time.
80-year-olds as well. There was 3 80-year-olds and 3 18-year-olds, everything in between.
Yeah, at that workshop, there were a lot of people that were comedians and were doing different things.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. But
None of us do. People
Right.
just think they do, don't they?
and then the first exercise, I don't know if you remember, but for me that was the one workshop. So the first exercise was that you asked us to do a horse, like
Oh, the horse neigh. Yeah,
horse
yeah.
noise.
Who could do the best horse?
yeah.
Mhm.
And my horse was very good in terms of sound, and then I had to physically portray the
You
horse.
crumbled when you had to be the horse.
And then, but I didn't know
Yeah.
what that meant. I was like, what does it mean that I have to be a horse? And then yeah, we were like, yeah, we like this horse better when we couldn't see it.
Did we say that? There we go. I think it's.
I appreciated like it's just matter of fact. It's not that big of a deal. Next.
There's quite a fun. I've just finished teaching another course which was a bit longer, and I would say that most people spent most of the time doing exactly that. Like, I don't know what I'm meant to do here, and it takes. We only did one day with you guys, but sometimes it takes people a long time to realize we're not asking you to do something specific.
Yeah,
we're asking you just to. Yeah, we're not asking you to do something correctly.
Yeah.
Or we're not looking for a specific thing. We just want you to do something lovely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
you can't do something correct.
No,
and also like it's boring being right, and it's boring watching someone be right. And it's boring watching someone who thinks they know they're doing something right. I think it's more fun to see someone be happy with no idea what's going on.
It's also fun to do something and it doesn't land at all. To me, it was very fun. I was like, it's okay.
Yeah, trying and risking. That's what we want to see. We want to see failure, really.
I'm realizing now we never did introductions.
Oh yeah, we should do that. We really should do that. Go on, after you.
So, hello.
Hello.
Why are you here, people? Hello, happy people.
Hi. My name is Lorna, and I am a comedian and professional funny person.
My name is Jonathan, and I am a performer and a writer and a director.
And oh my god,
and a professional. It sounds too fancy. Let me go again. My name is Jonathan, and I am a performer and professional idiot.
It's so fun. I struggle so much when I'm telling people what I do.
Yeah,
because I'm trying to walk this line between telling them what I do and not taking myself too seriously. So I'm constantly wondering what I should say.
But that's reflective of something going on in your brain.
Right,
yeah.
Because I know, thank you. I'm the one with the issue. So I'm there because I could really just say, I'm an entrepreneur and business coach.
Whoa.
Yeah, you could say that.
I've worked with hundreds of entrepreneurs across continents. And that sounds like, wow, she's got her shit together. I have no idea what I'm doing right now. And I'm literally trying to figure out, okay, where's my next client going to come from? It's so terrifying.
Yeah.
These past few weeks especially.
You should say you're professionally scared.
Oh, that's good.
I think I should take that.
I'm professionally terrified.
I feel like I've just been going through all these really scary new things that I'm doing. But I've done enough work that I'm able to like kind of ride it.
Yeah.
I'm like riding the fear.
I still have no. If anything, I'm more in touch with like how little I know. There's a good Socrates quote that's like, "The more I know,
right.
the more I
know what I don't know."
Oh yeah, the more the less I know. I can't remember what it was. I put it in my
she comes
statement.
Through with the philosophy.
The more I know, like, nothing that I know.
Or something.
The more I foul, the foul I know.
But
that's the one. Yes, the Socrates one.
But I am the older I get and the more I've done, the less I know. But also the more thankful I am that I've done the things I've done.
Yeah,
like I love not knowing, but I also love having done stuff and being like, whoa, there's a whole other thing that I don't know.
Yeah. And I'm also proud. Like I'm very proud of the things I've done. Yeah. I don't know what the line is, because you are a producer and performer and you're also a professional idiot. Yeah. I guess what I want is just that we can hold both. I just want to tell you that I've done so much, I worked beautiful, and I want to tell you I still don't know. I think I'm trying to find that sweet spot. Well,
it's important to talk about that. But but I've had this really recently with I've said to some people, because I've had a really, really successful year. Have I won 5 awards this year? Yes, but I for comedy. But I have no idea what I'm doing right now, and people have been really surprised to be like, what? Like, but you've got it all together, and it's been like, I know I have no idea what I'm doing, and I think we don't talk about that enough as well, especially in our industry, because it's like so nebulous. And what is success? I mean, that's the other thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
like. Your term, like failure, it really depends on what you view as success. Yeah. So when you're in a clown workshop and we're telling you to be a horse, we want you to be a horse, and actually the beauty is found in you failing at being a horse, because only you can fail in your way.
I love that.
And also, like, at the end of the day, like, nothing means anything, and every success is about as much as trying to be a good horse, really, at the end of the day.
But I would say for the majority of the population of the world, the idea of doing something and it not working in front, like, and doing that on stage in front of other people is so utterly terrifying that they will never even try.
People in proper jobs, especially entrepreneurs and business, and they're the most scared of failure.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Really scared, because not knowing is, you know, when you admit to not knowing, then you're like, what could go wrong?
Yeah.
Is that recording or is that stopped?
We don't know. Let's check. Max!
I don't know.
The screen might have just frozen. It's got the wheel.
Yeah, it's got the wheel. We should get Max.
Max!
Do you think he could, like, lock us in here?
I don't think we're going to get
We could
locked in
die.
here. Yeah.
We could,
Like, we could just never get out.
We've got some milk, though.
they could.
Right.
Yeah, we have got milk
At last.
and coffee.
Oh, nice.
We're definitely gonna die.
Yeah. Somebody's, like, throwing cannonballs on the roof.
What is happening? He's burying us in. He's locking us in.
Oh no!
Yeah.
That's such a sort of
He's
soil.
fritzling us.
That is so real.
So real.
Well,
Nice.
barging into.
I wonder when it stopped.
I don't know if it stopped. It might
Okay.
be that it's just
Frozen.
frozen, and so it's not showing. I see some numbers here.
Ah, okay, there are some numbers going.
Do do do, come on and do the conga. Do do do, a train across the floor.
Thanks.
I don't believe it's recording.
It is. It's just going off the little screen.
She's like, I don't trust nobody.
Yeah.
I trust absolutely
I
no
have
one, especially not
nobody.
myself, especially not Max.
Wow.
Wow, that was
Shots
too much.
fired.
No, I trust Max. He's the only
We
one.
shamed you into trusting Max.
Into trust.
I not trust Max.
To what we were saying, I think because I come from this business background, I'm in this spot where I feel like I tend like towards creativity, towards authenticity, and towards art. And then I've come from this business environment. I just want us to be human. And like, this is my pitch. Just know we're gonna work like coming from a place of authenticity and not knowing what we're doing. We're just gonna create a space where we both can figure things out, and you can be authentic and you can take care of yourself while you're building things. So it's like
It's almost like the natural assumption is that if somebody's older and has been on this earth for longer, then they know more. And I think as soon as you realize that that's not necessarily the case, that everybody, no matter what age they are, literally does not know what's going on, then it just makes everything so much more exciting and easier because suddenly nothing matters because everybody is like just a duck swimming on water without any ideas, right?
Yeah.
But like humanity and society makes things to make themselves feel like to stave off that kind of, because that's a kind of nihilism, isn't it? It's like we
Big
have
time.
And I view it as like a positive nihilism. Like, we're all going to die, none of it makes sense, so why not just have a bloody good time?
Right.
Yeah.
But that admitting to not knowing anything is really scary, because it's just, we put all these things on, like 9 to 5s and waking up, you know, we were talking about the Swiss earlier, getting up really early to go on their commutes. That's all of this business and stuff is to feel more reassured, like it's just a fear of death.
Yeah.
It's like more control over their
Let's
life.
get into it.
But it is.
It is. And I think that to try and bring it back to roughly what we do.
Well, no, but I think, having more joy and asking actually why, and then why not, is like, I think can make you more present and have more fun and more joy in the short term.
In case you can't tell, Lorna studied philosophy at university.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
But it's only, you know what, it's making sense more now to me than it did at the time.
Yeah, definitely.
But also, like, a lot of the philosophy I did was like ancient ethics because I thought it was funny. Like, I didn't just do, you know, question. I didn't do nihilism at uni. I did feminism. I did ancient ethics, ancient metaphysics, which was like really funny stuff. It's like what the world is like made out of. So like, but like in the really olden days, all the Greeks and the Romans thought things were like, one of them thought everything was water, and things were just different constitutes of water. So like this would be just like hard water,
couch water,
Lorna water.
I
nonsense.
I love how I want to say male philosophers.
In
ancient times, they were just like, you know what, I can say whatever I want.
Nobody knows. So
and people are like,
potato.
Everything's potato.
What if?
So
Prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong. I need potato.
Good luck.
Prove me wrong.
Well, I think on this, I think this whole project was born out of my realization that nobody knows anything.
Yeah.
I think I'm going through a life crisis of realizing, wait. I thought before I do whatever I wanted to do, I needed to know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then at some point it's like, wait, nobody knows?
Yeah.
Like nobody knows? Like no one?
Me and my dad used to play this game called What's That Made Out Of? And when I was really little, and I'd be like, what's this made up of? And he'd be like, wood. And I'd be like, what's wood made from? And then he'd be like, I actually don't know what wood's made from, but like he'd be like, you know, like tree, and then what's tree made of? And he'd be like tree, like plant cells. And then I'd be like, what plant cells made of? And then he'd be like, and he'd keep going and he'd keep going, and then he'd get to I've forgotten what this thing is. Atoms. And he'd be like, what's atoms made of? And then he'd be like, these molecules. And he'd be like, what's that made of? And then he'd be like, little squiggly string bits, but I can't remember the name, but he'd say little squiggly string bits. And I'd be like, what are they made up? And he goes, we don't know, science doesn't know. And that would be the answer for literally everything that we'd go. And it was like when he was teaching me about the world, and it was like from a young age I was like, no one knows anything. Even scientists don't know.
Right.
What's that? Like, I think that's really reassuring.
Who do you play
from
that
young
with?
age? What? My dad. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your dad is a knowledgeable person.
Yeah.
I mean,
but he's also really comfortable with not knowing.
Yeah.
As well.
There's a comfortability there, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I think it's also like, you know, like as performers, we come from clown and improv, and the feeling of being on stage, not knowing what you're doing, finding your way through it, and that sometimes, but not always, being successful is like a really good metaphor for taking, like, it's then like a short step to take that out of a theatre and into real life, where you're like, it doesn't, that's just the way to go.
It's fine.
It's what everyone is doing.
It's just whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, we don't know. So I mentioned that after the workshop, you suggested we look at this book, Why Is It Funny?, which I've been loving, by John Wright. And there is this bit that I really liked about how humanity has advanced when it has advanced, not because it has been sober, responsible, and cautious, but because it has been playful, rebellious, and immature. This is this quote by Tom Robbins. And I thought, yeah, that's some good stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's true. To create anything, I really need to be stupid. Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I love being stupid.
Making mistakes, I think, is where creations happen. My sister's an engineer, and she talks about this as well a lot. She does something with traffic lights. She's in charge of traffic lights.
All of them?
In London.
She does all of them.
All of them in London.
Traffic lights, you heard of them? She got them covered.
That's a cool job.
Yeah, it's a really cool job. She's really cool. And her and her team basically. But anyway, they run all the traffic lights and the roads and stuff. But she spoke about how, like, to me about how, like, you know, you're doing something and then someone makes a mistake and then you're like, oh, it could be done that way. And there's loads and loads of neurodiverse people in engineering in the same way that there are in the arts, because when you're inventing something, it kind of needs to be accidental.
Yeah, you have to
and you're trying to do something else and then something comes along, which is what you were talking about with your business stuff. Like, you can innovate with new ways by relaxing and being like, I'm going to have a go, and then finding something else.
Business stuff.
Business stuff,
yeah.
Whatever it is.
Listen, I don't do business stuff.
People do.
I do think though that the lie is that things are made perfectly first time. You know, like whether it's artistic stuff or business stuff, that you're like, okay, here's a perfect new business idea that just works, or like here's a show or a film or a poem or something that is just perfect first time.
Right.
Because things don't exist you don't know about things until they're famous necessarily, and so you assume that that's the first time they've done something. The reality is that everyone along the way has done that same thing millions of times in order to break it first. And I think that, you know, when I was younger and I was trying to work out how to like do this industry or work out how to become a performer or whatever, you know, you look at people, you're like, well, all he did was like get one part in a film, and now he's like doing what he wants to do, and then you're like, you dig further and you're like, oh no, he did like 7 to 10 years of doing all of this stuff first, and you're like, oh wait, oh no, even more for like.
There's one exception to that rule, which is if you're a nepo baby.
Oh yeah, apart from if you're a nepo baby, but
hashtag nepo baby.
Hashtag nepo baby, yeah.
But also, I think what's been on my mind is that we know that there is the all that part of failing and trying, but then all the stories are about beginning, you don't know, the trials and tribulations, and then you succeed. And I'm like, but right now, I really don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm building a new business. I've been in the space of not knowing. I took a break from work. It's been a lot, but I'm deep into this not knowing, and I'm thinking, can I just say that I don't know what I'm doing right now? Because I want to say with my work, with my with everything, and I don't know. I feel like the expectations that I need to tell the story of how I figured it out.
Yeah, it's the story that you tell yourself. But those stories, again, that's what we're saying about like people feeling reassured by, this is my career, and on the weekend I hang out with my family. This is my career, and on the weekend I hang out with my family. Right. That's just a story you're telling yourself. I'm the same. I have no idea what I'm doing, and you know, that's terrifying, but it's also really exciting and the only way that I want to live personally. Yeah. It's so nice. But the important thing is that you try and you risk, because to be fair, actually, you know, I'm sure there are people that are really, really happy that are like kind of zen and just don't do anything really. Right. And that's a perfectly great way to live. But if you want to make something, I suppose, then you have to try and you have to fail and you have to risk. But when you were in our workshop and you did your horse thing, for instance, you didn't know what you were doing. You did you hid behind a thing and you did an incredible horse noise because you just tried. It was really great. And then you came out and then you absolutely ruined it.
It was terrible. Yeah.
But you're trying and you learn through that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we see maybe you could this is getting in the way of showing you, or this is getting in the way. Like you kept laughing because you were being seen. And you were scared or embarrassed, so that was getting in the way of us being able to see your horse, really.
Yeah. I was watching a BBC News thing the other day that was talking about that something was going on in primary schools. Something was happening in primary schools. Anyway, they had a load of stock footage about and up and down the country, stuff is happening in primary schools. They were talking about, it was some increase to childcare in primary schools. Anyway, they had a load of stock footage of primary schools in the UK. And every single one of them was a teacher with a kid or a group of kids, and that kid or that group of kids was doing something like fun and adventurous, and they were just trying something. So it'd be like a teacher with a group of kids, and they'd just be like splatting paint onto something, and then it would be like a teacher with a bunch of kids, and then we all do that as kids. We have a wonderful space where we're allowed to do what we want.
And we learn through play.
And then we grow into adults where we're told that we have to have a CV filled with stuff that proves that we're knowledgeable. And then when you come and do a clown class, it's like being chucked right back into being a kid, but except with all of the pressure of being an adult.
The shame of being an adult. The rules. When I went to clown school, I had this big thing of I really thought I had tricks that I knew worked from improv, and my teacher, obviously very early on, was like, "These are tricks. Not allowed to do this." He banned me from speaking because I would always do accents, just accents that I was attempting but I was having no fun with, and would do well in front of a fringe audience because they late night fringe audience. They'd be like, "Oh, she's doing this," but I wasn't having any fun with it. It was this real thing of I've learned these rules that are just getting in my way. And it's the same in a clown class when you see even non-performers, the reason why you were laughing was you were stopping yourself. You were I shouldn't be doing this. Yeah. This is getting in the way of you trying to find it. It's the same thing. It's the same as these. Yeah.
I don't know why we prioritize it when we're kids, or adults are very desperate for kids to be happy and have a good time. And yet I think partly because it's a reflection of the fact that they're not, or they feel constrained in their own adult life to not be able to do that, right?
God.
You're I'm in my 9-to-5 job, but I want this kid to have the happiest childhood ever.
And then I want them to start making important decisions and do things and have
money,
security.
And then they stop.
And then they stop. Yeah, they've got to stop at some point.
And then it's where you just stop.
You just stop doing that.
It's security, isn't it? It's it's you, and it's money. It's money.
Well, that's a whole
other thing.
That's a whole other thing. I feel lucky enough that I could also take a break from my job to find myself at a clown workshop.
Which is
there's
a luck and a privilege, right?
But then I think also like that you like it goes back to what you're saying about the business stuff. The like the companies that like succeed and grow and change and invent things like the internet and stuff like that. That's all made by play and trying things out, right?
Mm.
And like I think humans and the cleverest monkey, I can't remember what they are. They are apes,
right? Yeah.
Are the only people? Because I did in my philosophy degree, I did a module on play and the philosophy of play. I think we are the only species to play for the sake of play. So improv, for example, so beautiful. Improv, for example, and improv music was the one that he used a lot. I'll send you the paper. It's really interesting. Okay. He's a really cool guy. His name's Andy something or other. Andy, philosophy teacher. And he... but it's just play for no result. So like animals play, but it's always to practice, like fighting, practice hunting, practice protecting, practice sex. Like it's always to learn, and it's always when they're young. It's always kittens and puppies and fowl.
Yes, kittens and puppies and fowl.
I was trying to think of the baby.
For chickens and
it's not what I meant. I meant to say fowl. Baby animals. It's always baby animals trying things out, whereas humans and the clever monkey play for the sake of play, which is uniquely human, isn't it? Just like that's joyful and it should be encouraged. It should be encouraged.
Yeah, massively.
Way more.
There's a link to like imposter syndrome, right? Which is where you're like, oh, I feel like I've got imposter syndrome, and then you sit in a room and you realize probably everyone feels like they've got imposter syndrome, which means that why are we all like kicking ourselves for having a syndrome that we have created for ourselves that nobody else is seeing in us? Like we're just all doing so much extra work and brain power to give ourselves a feeling of imposter syndrome that is not useful for anybody in that room, for anybody. Yeah. And then so the moment you take all of that away and you realize, at least this is what I've been thinking about recently, is the feeling of the excitement of being in a room where I am the least experienced, or the excitement of being in a room where I am the least knowledgeable, or have the least the least power, even like the least stuff. Mm-hmm. The excitement of that, of going like I've got so much more to learn here. Which is something I used, like, you know, when you're a kid and you find a new book that you want to read, you're like, this is great. It's a new book I didn't know existed. Or like even when you're a kid and you find a new animal that you didn't know existed in the world, you're like, this is a whole new animal that exists that I didn't know is there. You don't go like...
It sucks that we know all the animals now.
Yeah, we do know all the animals.
Like
all the fowls. You're like, there's a whole new animal here that I didn't know existed. I'm excited to learn about it. You don't go like, oh my God, I feel like such an idiot for not knowing this animal.
Know this.
I know that animal. Yeah.
Terrible. Oh yeah, I've actually worked for like 3 to 5 years in startups with that animal. Like you're like, no, I don't need to do that.
I should have known that animal. Everyone else knows that animal.
Yeah, everyone else my age knows that animal.
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Do you guys need some water? Do you need to?
I'm living the dream. By which I mean I've got enough water. Yeah. Do you want? Where's yours?
It's over here, right next to the mixer, where it belongs.
Where it needs to be.
Maybe I'll go for a wee.
Yeah.
Do that.
Do it. We'll get all the good stuff done whilst you're gone. We'll do all the TikTok dances, the deep conversations.
I get so much more stiffer as I get older.
I know.
Well, I have to say, for me, this whole work, all the improv music I've been doing, the clown workshops, this failing with people, that has changed a lot for me. This whole process has changed the way I work, the way I do everything. And then I realized, wait, this is what I want to do. I just want to, even in my work, I just want people to know that they can be human.
The term artist is similar to like chef or doctor, in that they are like considered jobs for life, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're like, if you're all, or they're considered like a job that you continually improve at. And I think that it's because we get to have the privilege of being like, I'm going to check in with myself every day, and like my job is connected to my self-improvement.
Yeah.
So therefore, why would we not connect it to the rest of our life? I don't know if that makes any sense. People do find their way through it in different things, right? Like I don't run, but I know people who like are marathon runners who find that they do that same self-work by running a marathon, and that they like become comfortable with themselves and know who they are and what they enjoy, and find some kind of peace and solace in the fact that we're all on this stupid world that's going around that nobody knows what they're doing by running. I personally, no, not for me. Like, that's not going to work for me, but I know that it does for some people. And we're just lucky, I guess, that the way that we have decided or worked out how we're going to go about it has a lot of laughter and joy with it as well. Like that it's through a mechanism that is centering laughter and centering joy.
So there is this point that was in the book that you guys recommended, Why Is It Funny? From this Indian American neuroscientist, and he's like, laughter has evolved as nature's way of signaling the all clear. Which, when I read that, I was like, whoa, that's deep. And then the story that was in the book was that, imagine we're all people from a long time ago. We're all in the forest and we're hunting for a prey. And then we're all about to shoot our shot, killing this animal that's hiding in the bushes. And then you realize that was actually someone's child from the tribe that was hiding in the bushes, not an animal. And then there is a moment of tension because we were all about to... and then laughter helps us all know that it's all fine. So the child sees the laughter, we see each other's laughter, and that's the sign. It's good. So you're dissipating the tension and...
Yeah, it's a release of tension, isn't it? It's a happy release of tension. Yeah. So if you're, like, we talk about this quite a lot with ghosts and stuff and horror stuff. You build up a tension and there's something horrible. Right. Build up a tension, there's nothing there. Build up the tension, nothing there. It's the same as comedy. Build up the tension, release. Build up the tension, release. It's the same thing. It's just kind of like a positive version. But my niece, when she was a baby, and I think a lot of parents do this now, but was different in our age. If we fell over on the playground, or like with our parents out in the park, and you fall down, it's such a shock. You get up and you're covered in mud. You might not even be hurt, but you start crying, and your parents like, "Oh, my poor baby!" As soon as you fall over, "Oh, my poor baby! Oh no, oh no, oh no!" Then the child is worried because the child is like, "Something's wrong! Something's wrong! I'm crying." Whereas when my niece used to fall over when she was really little, we'd all go, "Yay!" And we'd all laugh.
I've never heard that.
Really? Yeah. And I think
works.
a lot of parents do it because then the kids are like, "Oh, it's fine. Get up and go."
All right.
Because they're being told through the laughter that it's okay that they've fallen over, that they haven't hurt themselves, and that everything's fine, as opposed to being told that they are like a precious piece of porcelain, that if they fall over, that they're in danger the whole time.
It's the same with insects. Like, it's a little bit different, but like all of our fear of insects is inherited from our parents. They see a spider, they go, then you go, it's so clear.
I've been trying to work through that.
Yeah,
big spider fear.
But it's real.
Actually, the spiders are the only ones I tolerate.
Yeah,
but crickets.
It's crickets.
I'll just start.
I hate dead insects. Because my mum did. She'd always freak out if she saw like a dead fly. She'd be like, "Ugh." So I'm like,
what's up with our
pathologically scared.
Yeah,
what happened? It's all our parents, and because you're so impressionable as a child, you like pick it all up, don't you?
The tension release thing of the laughter is I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago, where like the tension is like, especially with a performer on stage, the tension before a laugh is people going like, "Uh-oh, is this going to work?" Both the performer and the audience, and it's everyone going like, there's an element of trust needed. You're like, "Do we trust you?" And then when a punchline is delivered and everybody laughs together, it's everyone going, "We trust you," and everybody else trusts you. We formed a little group. Oh, look, we're all together. Right. It's like the laughter of community, like people laughing together, is the laughter of like, I understand, you understand, we're all correct. We're all correct. It's okay, we're all correct.
And like with jokes, you've got it's all about that tension, isn't it? Yeah. It's like set up, like a pullback reveal, or like a all jokes is, you think it's one thing and then it's the other thing.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why what you just said, I'm thinking that's why sometimes if you're laughing alone in an audience, you can feel like, wait, am I wrong?
Yeah.
Because nobody's laughing. So is it...
Yeah, what am I... what do I think's funny?
Yeah.
Because, we're not connecting. We're not all agreeing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's always, though, like, do we trust this person? Thank God we trust this person. I think that's exhausting. I think... I don't think that's... I don't mean for every laugh, but I think that there's, like, the tension... A large part of tension release is about trust as well. Yeah.
Which is why, white male stand-ups have a much easier time gaining people's trust.
But then but I don't think their jokes then are, do we trust this person? No. I think we go with them and then there's something else.
Yeah.
Or there's tension and there's something else. Maybe.
Yeah, go on, say more.
So I think at the start that's true.
That's I think I meant at the start.
Right, okay.
Yeah, like when somebody first comes out, that's and then it's about tricking people and staying ahead of them and
yeah. It's all tricks, isn't it? It's all tricks.
It's all tricks, yeah.
So how does a clown fit into this? And maybe you can explain what clown is.
Would you like to explain clown?
So clown to me is like a tool. It's like a way of performing that puts you in a state where you are open to being vulnerable and like physically honest with your audience. I think there are clown acts and clown routines, some really good ones at the moment, like Julia Massley, who's doing a show called Ha 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 Ha. You'll have to see it. It's
really good.
brilliant.
I love everything about that.
Yeah, and she's problem solves, and it really is tension release, happy, sad. It's beautiful. You'd really love it.
Love it.
And it's all about not knowing, really. But so there are clown shows like that, and then there's amazing other clowns like Trigby Wakenshaw, and I can't think of any Dutch ones.
Dutch clowns.
Yeah, we're working on that. Literally, like, hey, what's happening?
What's going on?
But like Lucy Hopkins in the UK and Carlo Yukuki, who teaches at Gaulier. But then I'd say that they do clown shows. But I'm less interested in what is and isn't clown, to be honest, in terms of like clown shows.
But,
like, if you speak to clowns, they get really into it, and they're like, some of them are like, that's not clown.
We don't need to keep either. I guess for somebody,
but the tool, I think,
somebody that is used to stand-up comedy, since it's so popular, what's the difference? How do I think
the clown is laughed at, and whereas a comedian, you laughing with, and I think it's possible because clown is a tool to do both.
Yeah, but it might be useful to be like the kind of circus clown that we know with the red nose and the paint and stuff is like that's a job, and then sort of in the 1900s in France especially, some theatre practitioners started taking that idea and using it to train performers on stage, maybe sometimes with the nose, but often taking away the makeup. And so Lecoq in Paris was the main guy who did this, that started using this idea of clown to help train performers to be like more present and more alive on stage. So in the same way that like artists will paint in different styles, I like to often think of clown as like a tool for performance that some people use. So you get some American actors who talk about using like method acting or something, for example. Like that is another way of approaching performing or approaching stuff like that.
And what the idea is of clown, what that tool is completely unique to every single person. Yeah. And it's impossible to speak about it without it sounding like a cult or like crazy thing. It's basically getting in touch. Practically, it's getting yourself in a state. That sounds crazy as well. Practically getting.
Please lean into the crazy.
Getting yourself in a state where you are like your playful childlike self, and it's not pretending to have fun. It's not pretending to be stupid. It's not pretending to be any way. It's being you. Your happy child, and then from that place you can pretend to be whatever you want. You can pretend to be a princess, but what we recognize in you is you. My clown teacher Philippe Gaulier used to say, like, there are actors and there are clowns. There are actors who wear masks, who hide, and they're amazing. They're chameleons. They're amazing. You can see them become other things, but the best actors are clowns because they're always them. There's always like a wink in the eye of like, I am Lorna and I'm playing Hamlet right now. And when you go to the theatre to see Ian McKellen or Tom Hiddleston, you're not going to see Hamlet, you're going to see Ian McKellen do Hamlet. And like that's the same with like, like the best actors, even if they're not names, you're going to see them, their version of, otherwise we just read the script. Yeah. So if there isn't that like vulnerable clownness in that actor, then you're not being like truly human, because you're not giving like a real human aspect of yourself. Is that fair?
I think that's great. Yeah.
And so you go on stage. So when it's pure clown, you go on stage and you don't know what's going to happen because the audience.
No, I think
it's like a presentness.
Yeah, I think you allow for the possibility that anything could happen. You have to go on with something. In my mind, you have to go on with a plan. So, like the classic clown game, for example, would be a performer going on stage and trying to sit down on a chair, and then finding or ending up doing as many different versions of sitting on that chair with things going wrong along the way, and it's a very simple game. Like clown enters, clown sits on chair, clown stands back up from chair. But so many ways that simple thing could go wrong. That leads to just sort of hilarity and sadness and all the potential emotions that could come from that.
Clown needs a problem.
Yeah.
But then if you are an actor, you could, like, you're doing Hamlet, your monologue, you have to deliver that. What do I mean? You have to deliver that monologue beautifully. But in your head, you're an idiot. So how are you going to do that? And then it's about navigating that. So, like, I know it's confusing because I'm using a drama. I'm using a drama thing. But a clown needs a game and a problem. If that makes sense.
Okay. No, I
find it really hard to
I think it's making sense. So it's either the problem is something you're reciting or it's a chair.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. And so then, as I mentioned that for me, at some point, I've started using clown interchangeably to say authentic when it comes to something funny, comedy. When I see a spark of authenticity, when someone is doing a stand-up comedy set, I'm like, I see some clown in this.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, that's been the association for me.
I think we'd say vulnerability, but it's the same thing.
Yeah, same thing. I think the feeling of connecting to like what you're actually feeling and how you're actually doing things and what you actually are as a person, doing that on stage under lights in front of people. I think there's a large element of clown there.
Just terrifying.
Completely terrifying. It's the most terrifying, but also the most thrilling and the most exciting and the most live. Like, people don't want to see an AI version of you. They want to like just reciting words that you've learned. They want to see you doing it.
Like it's the first time.
It's the very first time.
My job is not going to disappear because of AI.
I mean, I do. Yeah, we do. I hope so. Yeah.
The moment that nobody AI can be an idiot like me.
The moment that AI can learn to write jokes, we've got problems.
Well, it can write jokes.
Yeah, but not good ones.
But not, it cannot be authentic on stage.
No, it can't do that.
It can't be because it hasn't had a childhood. It can't be childlike.
It has had a childhood. The childhood was very quick, and its childhood. It knew every animal.
Yeah,
that's not fun.
So AI have never had a point where it didn't know every animal.
Yeah.
But so and then when you're playing a character, so I was wondering. So clown is authentic, you're allowing space for things to happen. And then when you are a character, do you feel like that's putting a mask in front of, does that create less authenticity, less connection?
No.
Or no?
And I think that's the secret of why my character comedy is good, is that I think I'm really, really unprecious about my material. Which hurts, obviously. Like I do something that's bad and I'm like, oh, put it in the bin. Or like I work really hard, so I do a character, and put it in the bin. But the characters that I keep and that work are the ones that I feel most, I show an element of myself in, and you can see an element of me. Sometimes I do characters that are like technically fine, technically funny, but like you can't see me in a way that is like vulnerable. And I think that's that clown. I think good character comedy has clown in it. I think.
Yeah, I think.
At least that's what I run toward. That's when I know that something's going to be good, and I don't know if it's going to be good until I do it, and then I try it, and then I'm like, oh, this has got
I think there's an element of imagination to all of this, which is really useful. That is to say, like, if you're connected to your own vulnerability and your instincts and your impulses, then what that does is it opens a doorway into your own imagination. So then when you put on a costume or a wig or a hat, you're going, oh, here's me showing you even more of my imagination. And I'm doing it in such a way that's so vulnerable and exciting that people can get on board with it very quickly.
Right.
I use clown as a tool often when I'm acting. So like if I'm doing a Shakespeare show and suddenly it's like, well, you've got to be in 16th century Italy. The way that I can I can approach that character as going like, well, how can I imagine what that's like?
Mm.
And by using clown work to help me get there, I can show an audience my imagined version of 16th century Italy.
It's your we want to see your
we want
fantasy.
to see your fantasy, your
in
dream
your eyes.
around it. And therefore see me.
Yeah, because we see you through your dreams and
Right.
through your wants and your beliefs. One of Carlo, which was the clown teacher I mentioned that teaches at Goliath and also is a great clown teacher. Outside of that, he said that one clown he taught that he loved, whenever he entered the stage, it was like he had a piece of music in his head that he was listening to, and just his rhythm and everything. It was like he had this rhythm and this. He was like somewhere else, and that made everyone so curious about who he was. Yeah, I think maybe that fantasy is what I mean. What I mean as well. If I'd have a character that's like, I'm not dreaming so much. Doesn't matter if the jokes are good.
Yeah,
I can't clown in it.
Yeah,
because I can't. Yeah, I'm not playing anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So then there is two things. So on one side, you could be scared to be fully vulnerable and hold back, and that's doesn't connect. Maybe it doesn't go, so it doesn't work. Great. So that's one way. And the other thing that could happen is that you could be fully vulnerable and go to that place, but connection with people doesn't work all the time. So people might still not connect with what you're doing. I guess the question is, what happens then? So when it's not funny.
Yeah. So John Wright talks about this in his book as well. He talks about like complicite is the word that he uses. I like to use the word listening, of like listening to both your own impulses and the audience at the same time, so that you're not just serving them stuff that an audience don't want to see. So I think if you're receiving your impulses, if you're receiving your messages from the audience, as in you do something, they laugh, and therefore you do more of that because they like it, then you can't really go wrong, because you are offering them something, they're saying yes to it, and then you're saying yes again by doing even more of it. If you're offering stuff up to them and they don't want that, and then you keep doing that thing, then you're ignoring the audience that's in front of them. Yeah, and you're not listening to them. And then you're getting into trouble, because then you get into some like meta Facebook move fast and break things where you're going, this is my idea, and you're going to get on board with my idea no matter what.
People don't want no idea is a good idea. We
all
ideas
are bad
all
ideas.
Are bad ideas.
Yeah. Everyone's had all the ideas already.
But some are worse than others. And some people get up there and push that awful idea, and they're not listening to the fact that the audience is like, no. And they're like, maybe I need to like wear a different hat. And it's like, no, you don't need to wear a different hat. Your idea is bad.
The truth of the matter is, you can have the human brain is so incredible. You can have a million ideas in 10 seconds, but if you choose an idea, stick with that idea no matter the fact that people are telling you it's not working, then you're closing off your brain to all of the potential possibility, all the worlds you could create. Whereas if you try 5 different things in a row and one of them work, and then you take that one thing and you try 5 more things with that one thing and one of them works, then you are like chartering a path through an experience with an audience that means that people will love it and enjoy it along the way, because you are listening to them telling you what's funny.
I think where I was going, it makes sense, and that listening means that someone is talking to you. It means there is a connection on both sides.
Yeah, a conversation. Yeah,
there's that conversation. So what I was thinking is, sometimes that conversation doesn't work. Also, when you meet somebody, and sometimes you're like, I love this person, sometimes you just cannot connect with them, and that's also outside of your control. So there is, what happens if the connection is just not there with the audience?
Yeah.
So I think you're getting in that state because the audience should be there and open to listening to you, right? If they're drunk and they're all talking to each other, then they're not an audience.
Yeah.
Right.
If the audience is there and they're listening, they're ready, and they're open, and they're receiving, which is most audiences, 99% of audiences.
Yeah.
Then you are not allowing yourself to have that conversation with them. So you are not, and I'm not saying one-on-one conversation is completely different, I think. But one person performing for an audience, you need to not get in your way so that you can, because also like talking about bad ideas, there are really stupid ideas that are amazing. The stupidest ideas are beautiful. It's not about stupid ideas. Stupid ideas are great, but bad ideas are like heavy ideas or complicated, or maybe a bad idea is just it needs to be cleared up or fixed.
Mostly,
but anyway, but if you're performing and you feel like there's no conversation there, then maybe you're not letting them in. Maybe you're like doing something that's getting in the way of that ability, and like practically. So like maybe you're like, one big thing is like people move too much. They move way too much. They just need to be still. They just need to stand still and look at them. Maybe you're not looking at them in the eyes, so we can't see your eyes. It's practical things like that. It's not some sort of like aura.
I think so.
It's fixable things.
But I think that with your specific question, I think there's two answers, which is that one, which you've kind of said this, there are audiences that aren't that will like, yeah, as you said, like a drunk audience or like a corporate audience at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. Like sometimes that's just not going to work. You're like, okay, this setup is for comedy. Yeah, this setup is not right. This conversation can't happen because we're not in the right situation for this conversation to even begin.
And really quick side note, like to some extent, like all male like gong shows as a woman going out there, like audience isn't open and receptive to me. There's so many things in the way. They don't think I'm funny because I'm a woman. They want to kick me off. Maybe they're all really drunk. That's not a receptive audience.
They're so looking forward to just being able to kick you off.
Yes.
Because it's like a power trip.
Yeah, it's a power trip. Yeah. That's why I never did gong shows when I started.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah.
But then the second thing, I guess, is that if you are comfortable with failure, then you can very rarely go wrong, because it means that you go out with a plan, and if that plan works, it's a big success. If the plan doesn't work, it's funny as hell. So like if you're comfortable with failure, it means that you're actually like open to looking for opportunities where this falls so flat on its arse that you have such a good time doing it, and therefore the audience has such a good time doing it because they see you failing, but they see you so enjoying that failure that it becomes a success.
Yeah.
The way that conversations mostly don't work is when you've got a plan, you plow on with that plan doesn't work, and then you're not comfortable with that plan failing. And that's when you get into like a rut, which is really problematic.
But that's where the clown as a tool can help you.
Oh my gosh. If you want to even confront the fact that you aren't comfortable with failure, clown is such a good place to start. Improv is another really good place to start.
Yeah.
You don't like it?
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're just such good places to start, even if you're not a performer, to go like
enjoying the panic.
Wow, I very rarely put myself in situations where I'm panicking. What am I even like? What's
Everyone should do improv. I think improv should be mandatory at every company. No, I'm not even joking. At every company, I think it should be. We should do improv like we do PE at school, and then we should do improv in every company. I think it would make people more creative, happier.
And I think to that, anything that you really don't know how to do, picking up an instrument, drawing, like for 10 years, that's all I've been doing. I pick a pencil and I draw something that's right in front of me. And I've been challenging myself to just draw something out of my mind. And all those things, improv music, improv comedy, just do one thing.
Yeah.
One thing that you really don't know how to do. Learn a new language and be like really stupid while doing that.
Yeah.
Like, it's because it can apply to anything.
Yeah. I love doing that. I started learning to sew last year, and I'm so dyspraxic. I'm so bad at it, but I love it. I make the worst pillows, don't I? I've made the weirdest shaped pillows.
Yeah, and that's amazing. It's beautiful.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I think it's a step backwards, really. But when I was first learning a language, I found it really useful at a certain point to pretend that I could speak that language better than I could.
Ooh.
Because it allowed for the possibility that I could, like if you... It stopped me from like apologizing for myself as I was doing it, and instead helped me to like improve my language by challenging myself, by being like, I'm going to pretend that I'm better at, I'm going to pretend that I am better at this language than I am, and therefore like falsely give myself confidence when doing it. And the end result was that the conversations were better. My language did improve. I would have more flowing and interesting like conversations with people, and I'd meet people in a much more interesting way because I wasn't telling people that I was bad at something. I was allowing for the possibility that I could be good at it, even if I fell on my face.
You used to say this to me because I've got no language experience, and my school was rubbish and never taught me languages. Because I am from the UK, and
I was going to say,
I should
I'm
say,
glad you said that.
Yeah.
I should say England specifically as well, because I think Scotland's probably quite good at languages. But when I started learning French, because I went to clown school in France, I've been really, really bad at it and comfortable and terrified because I'm so scared to get it wrong. I'm so scared to be seen as an idiot and to ruin a conversation. Part of it is being a woman and always wanting to be polite And
Perfect.
I think it's so rude for me to not be able to speak the language, like, because then it's all on them and they have to work it out. Like, I couldn't fathom that as a young woman. And so then when I had to learn French because I was going to go live in France, it was really difficult. One of the things you said to me was, you need to do the accent.
Yeah.
And I was so uncomfortable doing the accent. And now when I do it, I like love it. I play. But obviously my whole life has changed since like doing comedy and stuff. But like I found a real love of playing with it. But when I was doing GCSE French, I did my oral exam without a French accent. I did it in English. I was like, bonjour, je m'appelle Lorna.
Oh, great.
I wish I could listen back to it. But that was one of the things that you said when I moved there. You were like, do the accent.
Yeah.
Like, play, pretend, imagine. It will help.
It will help, yeah.
Committing to that, yeah.
We talk about this sometimes, that our favourite performers are the ones who do, like, you are watching them try their hardest to get something right, even if that means failing. But quite a lot of people don't try, and if you don't try, then we're not going to want to watch you. Like, I don't enjoy watching performers who are half trying to do something. I think it's linked to the languages, in you're like, I would much rather see somebody trying their hardest to do like a perfect French accent, even if it's not great, than apologising for themselves and apologising for their work by not even trying to do it. Like, I want to watch you try.
To your
I really
highest,
do.
And it's also about clown, like not playing stupid. You play to the top of your intelligence. Don't come on and go, oh, I'm stupid. You play to the top of your intelligence, and then where you fall and where we see your idiocy is like true and real. You get a lot of people in clown that come on and they're like, they play this idea of innocence, and it's like, no, that's not what we want to see. We want to see your innocence. And I think that also results in bad ideas when people, like, if you're only aiming here, then you can only go there. Whereas if you aim up here, then you can go all the way down there, which is beautiful.
You
think how far you can fail.
I thought you were going with, aim for the stars, and you're like, no, you gotta aim high so you can fail.
So you can fall hard.
Yeah.
The high, like, honestly, the bigger that drop, the better it is.
It's so funny. It's so much funnier.
But I think it goes back to, in everything you do, if you can just separate your self-worth from whatever you're creating or putting out.
100%.
This is a really big thing.
If you can do that, you can fail hard and you can have a great time while doing that. I was drawing some, as I said, I've been trying to draw more with colors and all of that. And then I showed this whatever I did to someone, and I was just so happy I did it. I did not care in the least what this thing looked like. And then this person says, it looks really good. And I'm like, I don't want to be rude, but I really don't care. I don't care if it looks good or not. I'm just so glad that I could go to a new place and be there, and then whatever, it just needs to be.
And as a professional performer, that is so important to have, like, especially when you're like getting critical feedback from reviewers and stuff. You have to not care. You have to still listen to the audience and know when something isn't good, and you have to still like listen to feedback if you do want to improve. You have to keep learning and growing.
Right.
But
It's
it's all ego. I had this big thing growing up where I couldn't stand it when people were arrogant. I still have it with men, but particularly confidence in women I always saw as arrogancy, because I'd been like, brainwashed into thinking that taking up space as a woman and being loud was like the worst thing you could do. Now I love women and I'm reformed because I met some really funny women, and particularly like one of the girls in our improv group. She was so loud. She comes from a very loud, big family, and she was like always really loud and confident. And I just really thought like, oh my God, she must be a bitch. She must be a bitch. And she's the loveliest person in the world. And I got to know her and I started doing comedy with her, and I was like, you're so funny and you're so nice. Like, she's so nice. And I think it's this thing of like having confidence in yourself or like your work is like, and actually, it resulted in me going to clown school and then like limiting myself and shutting myself off and being really like not giving as much as I can. That's one of my like things that I really had to work on, was like take up space, because I thought if you took up too much space, then you would be seen as arrogant or like overly confident, and that's just ego. One of my clown teachers said to me, like, it's your job to give. It's your job to take up space and be seen. It's actually rude for you not to take up space. It's rude for you not to talk. And I basically am one of those kids that like talked loads and was told off for talking. So I got it in my head that it's bad to talk or be confident and all this gender stuff as well. So then it was like a revolution. Obviously, it's something that I had to practice and practice and practice. And I still like, you know, feel anxious about it sometimes. Right. But like just being told that like to not be generous with your performance or like in social situations is actually rude. Revolutionized what ego was, because ego isn't having a big ego. Ego is you get this with performers who are like, oh God, I was bad, wasn't I? Or wasn't I bad in that? Wasn't I absolutely awful in that? And it's like, what do you want from this? Because this is ego. Like then feeling like they let the team down because they don't think that they're very good, even if they were really good or they weren't really good. Then wanting pat on the back. That's all ego. It's all, and we have egos and we have to like be tender to ourselves. But also like if you just let go any judgment of your own work, and I know it's much harder done than said.
There's a tension towards it.
I think it will be a life. I think it will be a lifetime practice of practicing separating your self-worth from the things that you create. But if you don't start that now, it's going to be really hard.
Yeah, it gets harder and harder.
And harder. So like the earlier and the quicker you separate your ego, your self-worth, your life from the ideas you have and the creations you make, the more that practice becomes easier. There's a great book called On Writing by Stephen King, the novelist.
Oh, I read that one.
It's really, really good. And it's like, I mean, sometimes too specific about novel writing, and I do not write novels. But it was...
I know, why did we read that?
I know.
I'm like, how did you get us to...
You guys could write a novel.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll write a novel. Why not?
Start. No, he did, didn't he?
But I think it was like, it's one of the only books I've read that's like really practically just going like, get a pen or a paper, or he used to use a typewriter, sit down and just write, just do it, because just do it, just sit down and do it. Yeah, I need to pee really quickly. But keep talking and I'll just come back.
Just do it.
Bloody do it.
Just do it.
But yeah, it like that. I remember that conversation with Carlo, and because I kept playing low status characters because I was too scared to play a high status character, because I thought if it was bad,
what's
then
a high status?
So like a character that's like well, okay, what shall I do? Like really like small, or like okay, yeah, cool, I'll do that. Really like little. He was like, why would you ever do that?
Okay, instead of being a loud
he was like, be loud, take space. And he was like, you know,
fall down,
have control, fall down, play up here. So then you can fall all the way, because if you don't take up that space, you can't risk.
I love the fall really hard. I love that so much,
because then you're risking and you find stuff when you fail. If you don't properly risk, you're not failing.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, and this isn't always like, I'm not. It's time and a place. Like this again, this is all theoretical. Like you know, when I did
maybe if you're doing a heart surgery on somebody, maybe not.
Yeah, definitely. Save the space.
Maybe try to be safe.
But like on day 22nd of Fringe, like there are moments in my show where I'm like really like vulnerable and really playing every single day, and there are other moments, you know, where I'm doing the lines and I'm saying them presently, but I'm not like, you know, I'm not going to throw out my whole thing. Things work, so then you keep them and then you move and you when you're creating, it's not about throwing everything away and risking everything every time. But to find that stuff, you risk.
It's just that balance.
It's like that quote that you read out at the beginning of the things being found through accident. Really.
Yeah, being playful. So I think there is a balance. As you said, we also need to be tender to ourselves, and we also need to be kind.
You also need compliments, and you need your friends hugging you and telling you like you're great, you're so funny, and you're lovely. Like it. You do you do need that. Like we're not robots. We can't exist with being completely separate from our ego, and it's also like a practice. Like getting bad reviews, like that hurts. Like that hurts.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a big thing that this whole conversation we're having. Of course, like we want to try our best not to judge ourselves and not to do this, but also we will judge ourselves and we will associate our worth with what we do and our French accents and but literally we are out here doing anything we do with everything, putting your whole self on the line. It's like, if this goes wrong, I'm worth nothing. And I see this with entrepreneurs, with friends, with anyone. With my, I don't know, my dad learning English. Like, he's never said a word because he cannot allow himself to say it wrong.
See, now I'm at a point now where I can't do accents that I'm too good at on stage because they're not funny because I'm too good at them. Whereas I always try and do something, or I give myself like an impediment. Like the character I'm working on now, I've got braces in my mouth, and it makes me a lot funnier when I'm speaking. We work with limitations a lot in clown class. If you're your as I was saying to you earlier about giving you, like, overwhelming you with tasks, if you're a really clever person, you might just need loads of distraction. So like you do a bop it thing where you do bop it to the best of your ability, and it's really fun because we are like watching you really try, and you've got incredible hand-eye coordination, so it's really fun to watch you basically really concentrate.
Yeah, I don't think I could even do the bop it on its own.
I'm so dyspraxic.
But it would be easy to go up there and play bop it badly and try and get laughs, but I realised that I needed to go up there and actually try my hardest to keep the bop it going in front of a live audience, and then whatever happens will be a bonus. But if I don't try,
it's so bad to watch someone do something badly. It's so boring.
We talk about this sometimes with like putting lots of our eggs in different baskets. If you put all of your self-worth on one thing, if you're like, I'm going to learn a new language and all of my self-worth is on that one thing, then it becomes much harder because you're connecting your whole ego to it. So I'm not saying you should try and learn 10 languages, but you should do like do a drawing, try a workshop, do a language,
take photography class,
do 10,000 different things, because then your self-worth is being spread across it,
and you're going to be great at some things, you're going to be better at other things.
It's on learning.
That's been my whole shtick for the past year.
It's really cool. And then you're a person that does stuff.
It's completely the correct way to go.
Yeah, big time. I had 2 really good points. One of them is irrelevant, but then there was one that was relevant.
Oh, really? Give us the irrelevant one.
The relevant one. Izzy City, who's an amazing comedian, wonderful, I love her so much, did like this comedy thing when I was first starting out, and she, in like a workshop-y kind of online thing, and she said, if you book one gig in, all the pressure is on that one gig.
Right.
All of it's on that. Oh my God. Like, you're going to be nervous as shit. You're going to have such a tough time.
Yeah.
But if you book 3 gigs in, that's spread immediately. You can't worry about that one too much.
Yeah, you don't even have brain space.
Physically, yeah. So like Fringe last year, everyone was like, "Oh, how are you feeling about a month of shows?" And it's like, overwhelmed. I can't think about a month, which makes you calm, because it's like, well, it really just spreads out the pressure. You've got 28 shows to get that show right, or how you fancy. The thing that I was going to say was, before I go on stage, I say something to myself that one of my clown teachers used to say to me, which was, this is either going to be the best show of my life or the worst show of my life. Isn't that exciting? It's not going to be somewhere in between. It's going to be the best or the worst. And obviously it always is. But if you aim for it to be the best or the worst, that's so fun. I could do the worst gig I've ever done. Isn't that exciting?
It's so
I
good.
could do something atrocious out there.
I think it's about the commitment. Just commit to it.
Commit.
Then it just needs to be. Whatever it is, it just needs to be.
It is. If you're right, it's there. It is. It bees. It's
bees.
like it's you're present. You're present. And I think that's it fouls. I think that's like why I love this life, and like it like. Again, it's really hard and all of that, and also absolute privilege to be able to be an artist, blah, 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 blah. But because it makes me feel so present doing comedy. It makes me feel so like here and now, and I love it. And that's why I like making people laugh, because it's like, I'm nowhere else. I'm not thinking ahead. I'm not thinking behind. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. We were thinking also about our relationship to laughter. And I told you I have a complex one. Where I've used laughter to calm myself growing up. When I was extremely nervous or vulnerable, ashamed, I would laugh uncontrollably as a kid. But then at the same time, I love using laughter to connect with people. I love when people are feeling good. I as I said, I have this people-pleasing tendencies. So I'm working on leveling that out. So I'm taking care of myself as well as other people. But so there's these different ways that we can use laughter. So I guess how is it for you, because you've chosen to include laughter so much in your life and making people laugh, and where does that go?
Yeah, it's interesting as well as you as a facilitator.
Yeah, big time.
I spend a lot of time on trying to make people laugh.
trying to help people I was thinking about this earlier, that when I'm directing people, so I directed Lorna's show, and when I'm teaching people in a workshop, actually, when it comes down to it, all I'm trying to do is help get what's in their head clearer to us out here. Like, I'm not helping them find more laughter. I'm not helping them. I mean, sometimes I am helping them write more jokes, but really what I'm doing is they've got an idea in their head, and I'm trying to help them like go through the mud and find the gold, and then show the gold to us in a way that they feel happy with.
And repeat it.
And then repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, so that we can find that laughter together. And actually, quite a lot of the time, laughter is not the goal, but is the indirect result of me helping somebody to make their ideas nice and golden on stage. And the laughter will come as a result. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, big time.
Additionally, we laugh a lot in our real life, and we love laughter. And then obviously sometimes like our job is to make people laugh, and we have to do that
all the time.
All the time. But
24/7, baby.
But that it only makes like the different ways you can laugh is really nice, because the way that we make people laugh for our job is different from the way that we make each other laugh at home.
Yeah, although sometimes it's the same. Like I know if I make my sister laugh, that's a good laugh. Although sometimes she laughs at really atrocious stuff. I can tell which is a good laugh and which is like my sister's laughing at me because she's my sister. But my friend Helena also has a really good laugh. I love making Helena laugh. If I can make Helena laugh, she's French and she has a completely different life. She has a completely different life to me. And if I make her laugh, I found something good. And if I make you really laugh, I found something good. I think you need to, if you are doing comedy as your job, you need to have a really happy life, a really joyful life. Obviously, there's a whole sad clown thing, but I don't think that's everyone. Like, I'm not sad. I'm such a happy person. I'm really joyful. I'm really optimistic. You have to be so optimistic as well if you're doing comedy. I think you have to as an artist doing any art, you have to have your life flourishing as well, I think. Otherwise, you're going to have quite a tough time. Something that Philippe used to say was, the idiot notices 20 beautiful things every day.
Oh, yeah.
And that's something that you made your students do, wasn't it? Right, just 10 funny things they saw.
That's top tier.
Yeah.
To just become
and to
more
opening
grateful.
yourself to finding your sense of humour, to your beauty, because beauty and humour is the same thing. And we were talking earlier about how like our favourite shows that we like to watch aren't just like joke. It's like there's texture.
I'll laugh.
And and if you don't notice the texture in life, and another tip that you say to your students as well is like, how do you make people laugh in? And maybe we spoke about this on our course. How do you make people laugh in your social group? Like, when are you making your friends laugh? Because that's your clown. That's close to your sense of humour. So mind the way you get so many stand-ups who start stand-up at like age 40, and they're like, I've always been the funny one in the group, and they've realised, oh, I'm actually funny. It's not just like that's my personality trait. Like, I'm the one that cooks. Like, that's that you've got a good sense of humour and you show it. Yeah. And you share it.
I love that there is a sense of care when you do that. To me, at least, it's just I'm just trying to make everybody have a good time. I just love it. I love seeing you having fun, and if I have a part in it, that's great.
Yeah, and it's beautiful that you laugh so much. People that laugh and like and joy and play, like that, then you should be doing play and joy and involved in that.
I also think I used to. I don't do it so much anymore. Maybe I should bring it back. Is I used to really recommend that people go and watch stuff that they really hate.
We do that quite a lot.
Like, it's really good to watch something like a play or some comedy or a film, and come out on the bat and be like, I didn't enjoy that. Why didn't I enjoy that?
Oh yeah.
Because it like, you will hone your taste a lot faster than if you just go and laugh at everything. Than if you go and watch stuff that is outside of your comfort zone and you don't enjoy it. Like, sometimes you'll watch something that's outside of your comfort zone, you'll enjoy it. It's great. It's increased your comfort zone. Sometimes you'll go and watch something that's outside of your comfort zone, you won't enjoy it. And then by being able to articulate why you didn't enjoy it, it'll make you when you really laugh, it'll make you really laugh even more, because you'll find those edges of those things that, like, I do truly believe that, like, there is comedy for everyone. Yeah. I also believe that people have their tastes, and that's wonderful, and that should be encouraged and flourished. I definitely was the person who would laugh. I still do this. I still do laugh too much at things that I don't enjoy, because I feel nervous that I want other people to have a good time, or that I want the performer to be having a good time. But actually, the thing that I'm trying to work on that I'm realizing is much more successful is being honest about when I enjoy things and when I don't. Both honest for myself and for other people, because it helps everyone. It will help everyone in the long term.
Yeah.
Just don't sit on the front row.
Just don't sit on the front row.
Yeah, that is also sometimes just letting the room be awkward.
Yeah.
I used to always cover up the awkward.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, let me just say something. I will ask questions and throw people in so to make everybody have a good time.
I do that as well. It's politeness.
But then also if you don't feel like it,
you shouldn't have to do it. No.
I don't feel like it.
Yeah,
I think finding that sweet spot for me has been
at Gollier, it's a classic problem with women. We are so polite, and he'd always say, "This is all shit. You are too polite. You are too polite," and it's true. Like we go out, men do it too, and you do it. We go out of our way to make other people feel comfortable. But that's not being funny.
Well, but then if you're funny
yes, it's about turning it on. It's just about being more aware of it. So you getting to this point now and realizing, I've done quite a lot of laughing to make other people feel comfortable, or I've been sacrificing myself and my energy to make other people in situations where they didn't deserve that. That's when you cut out. But having the ability to be kind, is another thing. Is that we'll go to comedy shows and it won't be very good, but we'll be so happy they're trying. We'll be present, smiling and laughing.
Absolutely.
But then there is a real listening. Do I find this funny, or am I just trying to?
I think if you've ever thought to yourself, I am laughing to make somebody comfortable, then you can probably take away 5 or 10% of that laughter and you'd still be polite. I often think this, if you've got the kind of personality that's worried about over laughing, then you are polite enough and empathetic enough as a person that you could take away 5 or 10 or 15% of that and still be polite, but not have to do so much work. I
think also you being aware that when you were little, you do a lot of laughing, out of shame or worry, is really interesting. A lot of when I feel funniest, and a lot of I think what I found at clown school, where my clown is when I feel embarrassed. But I hadn't really, I don't think, fully come to terms with accepting that I could feel embarrassed in front of a whole room of people.
Right.
And that was a breakthrough, because normally I'd hide if I was embarrassed, sometimes I get angry when I'm embarrassed.
Oh, I love that.
But if I push myself to get embarrassed on stage, I'm really funny, and I have so much joy because I can't hide, and it's really I feel like all the spotlights are on me, and that is perfect. That's brilliant. That's where I want to be. Obviously, it's a practice, and I can't always get there. But I try, and that's again finding those characters, the ones that work, are the ones where I feel like I'm exposing a part of me that is embarrassing. So I think that you having that awareness is really good. Being in touch with those the with shame is where your vulnerability and where your power is.
Yeah.
I think there's a really good podcast on shame by, I can't remember her name. She's a big feminist woman.
Brene Brown?
Was it Brene Brown?
Brene Brown is good, probably the foundation to everything I do. It's just that I needed to, the theory arrived. When I read it, I'm like, this makes sense. This was 10 years ago that she started doing the thing.
Yeah.
But then to really practice that, and to what we've been saying about not placing a worth on things, that's what she says is the constant work that we do. What does she call it? The anti-shame work that you have to do. So it's we all have the shame, and it's fine. It's part of who we are. And then you just have to have your tricks, you soothe yourself, and so it's a constant work of it's okay that you feel that way, but it just let's.
Because I have no idea what makes me feel embarrassed. I have no idea. But then when I find something that does, and it works, and then I do it, and it's so linked to my performance. But not everyone's clown is linked to embarrassment or shame. That this is just where mine comes from.
Yeah.
And it's a constant discovery of what can put me in that spot where I feel really happy to be embarrassed. But other people's clowns come from loads of different ways that they feel like they have the most failure or whatever. I don't think it's not all. It's not. Yeah, it's definitely not everyone's. That's just where mine came from.
Yeah. What I love is that you said something before that really it was a breakthrough sort of thing, because I told you tomorrow I'm doing a show, I'm doing a new bit that's supposedly funny when I'm committed to it. I mean, there's a lot that we talked about that is going to be helpful tomorrow. So I mean, first thing, I need to commit and either fail hard or whatever. Yeah. We're just going to commit. So that's the first thing I'm taking with me. But then also I was telling you, I'm worried about laughing, because I have this duality with laughing when I'm having fun and laughing when I'm trying to hide. that I'm scared or I'm nervous, and I just want I guess it's a fully hiding. And then you said, well, just I guess connect with the laughter that is there because it's present. That's the one we want. And I'm like, okay, so it's not like I don't need to laugh.
No,
I don't need to hide behind the laughter, and instead I use the authentic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We have to see, but like you try.
We could be wrong.
You know, it could be really funny. You try really bad. You try not to laugh, and you like trying really. Being one of the other things you're trying really hard to do is to stifle that laugh, and then when you fail at that and you laugh, that could be funny. But if you try really hard not to laugh, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know.
We'll see tomorrow. But I'm definitely like walking. Like
a problem
if you don't try, you'll never know.
A clown needs a problem. If you've got a problem, that's great.
Oh, I've got it. Yeah.
But this is why you do accents that I can't do, and this is why your clown lies in, or like when you're trying something really, really complex because you're so good at stuff. It was really hard for him to come across as an idiot for a long time because his clown costume that when he did Carlo's course and he put him in like a Robespierre, the French revolutionary. So like, you know, really proper and really like good at stuff, academic, clever.
I can't believe that was the thing for you. Because when I saw you perform, you were dressed like a big baby.
Yeah, I was a big baby. Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty.
At the moment, I'm performing in a character who wears like a dinner suit and is like really smart and formal, and then it's really fun to do things that undermine that a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's the best. Like in a way, I think about this a lot with clowns who I've worked with before. It's such a gift if you're bad at things. It's such a gift because it's so easy for you to get laughs because you're bad at them.
Yeah.
If you're good at things,
have to try.
If you're good at things, it's harder, but it just means you have to set yourself harder challenges. So like if you're bad at accents, if you're bad at dancing, if you're bad at voices, then try your hardest, and the fact that you're bad at them will be funny. If you're really good at all three of those things, you need to set yourself even harder tasks. You need to set yourself even harder tasks so that you can fail even more.
It mostly means you can do more beautiful things if you're like it's like before, like for instance, Trick the Wake and Short is an incredible mime. So you can do incredible mime and then and then clown with that.
Yeah.
So you can go far with a skill, and then
so he did a show a few years ago, which was he like marked out like a 1 meter by 1 meter box on the stage. So he had a big stage and he had a 1 meter wide by 1 meter box, and he was only allowed to perform it within that. So you're like, okay, you've got a performer who knows that he's very good at moving everywhere, gives himself a real strict limitation in order to both be successful in that and fail at it and find the laughter within that and find the limitations of that, which I think is really useful.
But this stuff is just, I guess I'm going to apply tomorrow night. But also as I'm building this new company, all these things that we're talking about are so, they just fit so well into all of that. Just super helpful.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably all. I think everything we just said has been nonsense.
Yeah, it could also be wrong. Yeah.
Probably wrong. We don't know anything, but I guess these are things. These are things that.
We don't.
But try like feelings that we've discovered. But I don't know. Through trial and error as well.
The caveat is that this is what we're talking about right now, and it could be wrong tomorrow, and also we don't know, and it works for us. But other people, I do think other people work in very different ways and have different ways of thinking about it, and it works for them. So good.
Yeah.
Good for them.
My God.
I know. Look at us go.
I'm talking a lot.
It's gone. It's happened.
Yeah. Honestly, I've been like, I just want this to happen. I'm so tired of thinking about how is it going to be. Just want it to happen.
Okay, what's the question? Hit us.
Okay, good. Okay. I guess the big question is, with you choosing to make this your life, your work, is there a purpose, a meaning? Where does this fit for you? It's like you chose to make people laugh. Is it you want people to laugh? I
want people to laugh. You want people to do lots of things.
Yeah, I want people to do lots of things.
Where does that fit? Like, so you're doing all this. You wake up in the morning. It's like, I wake up in the morning because of this. Like,
I wake up in the morning so I can have something salty to eat, and coffee.
Salty.
Yeah. I want to get better at making people laugh, and I want to learn how to make people laugh better and how to write better jokes. I want to write sitcoms. I have really practical aims. I want to write family sitcoms with a live studio audience. I want to, make different shows. I want to perform in different countries. I want to do comedy with my friends. I want to make my friends be funny. That's all really practical stuff, though. I don't think I think I have like a philosophical want or a thing that like drives me. I think it's far more simpler than that. What about you?
I think I think about things in short term and long term. So I think in short term, in the next week, in the next month, in the next year, I've got things I want to do. I've got like instincts I want to follow. I want to make this. I want to write this. I want to try and get up and try this and do this.
Like practical things.
Practical things, like you were talking about.
My sitcom.
Yeah, like your sitcom. I think those are the short-term things that are really exciting because you go, I've got a practical thought or idea or thing that I want to do. I think long-term, the more I do this job and this life and this way of working, the more I feel so lucky to be able to do it that why would I ever want to do anything else?
Mm-hmm.
I do think that everyone is creative, and everyone finds their own outlet for their own creativity. I feel very lucky that I have managed to connect to an outlet that is actually so overtly creative. Whereas I know that some people will probably do a job till they're 40, then buy a really nice car, and then they'll find in that car the creativity that they've been craving their whole life, and that's fine for them. Good luck for them. For me, I feel very lucky that I'm able to exercise my creativity and my imagination and my instincts in like a consistent way, and at least right now, I can't imagine doing anything else.
Yeah. I also want to laugh. Like I want to have a good time. We've got this friendship group who are all different types of artists, and a couple of people wouldn't call themselves artists, but they bloody love to laugh. And I just love having a good time with them. Like that, if I could do that for the rest of my life, I would.
Yeah. I like stories a lot, though.
Yeah, I also
I'm
like
much
stories.
more into stories, and so whether those stories are funny or whether they're sad, I really like telling stories, being around stories, being told stories.
Yeah, I love stories.
Love a bit of story time.
They say people say that like you're telling. I can't remember who says this, and I don't know if it's true, but you're telling like the same. You as an artist, you're always telling different versions of the same story, and then you like by the time you get to the end of your artistic practice in your life, you're like. So basically telling the same story that you were telling right at the beginning of your artistic career, but you've just gone about it different ways, and the same story, and you've just got to a purer version. And I would love to know what that is that I'm doing. So I have no idea.
What's my story?
Well, I have no idea. Yeah, and if you're not idea led, if you're like I don't know, joy led, then it's going to be just a roller coaster finding out, isn't it?
That's big time. It's such a great answer that I think is completely valid. Is like I don't know what it is that I'm doing. And therefore I'm going to keep doing things until I find it, and the answer is I probably won't ever find it.
And I love people trying to work out what I'm doing. It's great.
Oh yeah,
that's always
when
fun.
they watch your stuff and they're like, I love this, or this means this to me. That's really cool.
Right.
I'd love to know, so tell me.
Right. I love that we set out to talk about pain and laughter, but then we're almost too optimistic. We've been like, just fail and have fun while failing. And it's like,
you've got to be optimistic. You've got to be.
And I guess we
Yeah. Because the worst that can happen is that you fail. That's not that bad.
We love the pain.
Or that you're in pain, and it's gonna be fine. Just ask for help when you need help.
Yeah.
And then soothe yourself however you need, and
it's not that bad, is it?
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
For a lot of things. Yeah. So that's funny. we're like, we got to talk about pain. And we're like, life is great, but it's funny. No, I love it. Thank you so much. So we did it. I guess we did it. We did it.
Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you for having us. It's been lovely.
No, I can't believe you said yes to me. I'm like, yeah.
We've got to go have a roast dinner.
We do need to go and leave and have a roast dinner now.
I am so hungry.
Yeah, that's what has to happen.
We're going to the north of
Thank
London.
You so much.
We have to jump on a train probably.
All right.
Sweet. Okay, great.
So
Thank you so much.
Yay!
So exciting.
Lovely.
So exciting.
Oh.
Hey, so
That was so good.